Welcome to Tammy Nation. Let's go.
From 9 to 5, been biting my tongue for all this time. Won't let anyone cut me short. I was thinking this was the way to go, and you put up your puppet show. I say cheers to life. No, I'll be no good man. Just leave me alone. I'm running the show. I'm telling you, it's my time to rise up. Live the life I'm proud of. No, you better go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tammy Nation tonight. It is October 2nd, and I'm a little later than usual, but I got on as soon as I could. There's fire in the hole, so to speak, with a lot going out there in our government and political field. If you guys haven't seen the fire, one that was coming out of Trump's nose and nostrils in court today. Two, Matt Gaetz pulled the trigger on trying to dethrone and de-seat Senator McCarthy. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. Hey, Debbie King, good to see you. So anyways, it's a lot of it has been breaking and is cutting across social media with these other stories. So the first one I want to talk about is if you didn't have a chance to see Mr. T as he entered court today, before he entered court in New York, boy, he was a fuming. He had a lot of things to say. He was very strong in his verbiage, and we know he doesn't really throw weak punches. When he throws a punch, it's a good one. And he was blasting the judge because in an earlier summary judgment ruling in the case that is the civil trial and civil case that is going on in New York, he's facing potential penalties of $250 million, although his team sought a summary judgment in this case. So Trump had a few things to say about this judge, and it was he should be disbarred. And he said this is a judge that should be out of office. He wasn't holding any, like I said, any punches back today. He was fuming. I haven't seen him really that kind of angry or using that kind of verbiage. Really, I don't know if ever. Usually he has a little smile or a smirk and he's verbal tossing back and forth. But today he was really aggravated. You could tell some of the photos that came out of him sitting in court were pretty amazing too. He had a nice stern look on his face because it's, to me, he says, absolutely ridiculous what they're putting me through. Once again, that this an appellate court that the judge basically said that 80% of this case really should be solved and over and done with. This shouldn't even be going where it's going now. Hey, Sharon Mercer. So he is just really lit. I think that he's really upset. The judge's name is Arthur Engoron, and Trump had further things to say about this judge, saying he should be charged criminally for handling of this case. Yeah, he was definitely angry. He was actually talking about the claim that the Justice Department officials were pulling the strings in the Empire State while once again attacking the state AG, Letitia James. We know that she's no friend of his and he's no friend of hers. He attacked special counsel Jack Smith and even the clerk he claimed that was in Judge Engoron's ear because he was saying that clerk, hey, Elysium, he said that clerk should not be in Trump's or in the judge's ear every single question. So that had him fuming too. He also said this guy is getting away with the M word, and it ends in an R. I don't want to say it, but he said this clerk should not be allowed to be, like I said, in the judge's ear every single question. He said that the judge should take a look at her. She hates Trump even more than he does. His attacks come despite being warned in unrelated criminal cases about attacks on court personnel because we know he just tells it like it is. He says what he has to say and he doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't care. He's out there to get the truth out, to get justice. Some people don't agree with that, obviously, but you look at the way that this justice system has been going, the way they're going after him in this civil case, cherry picking different things. And remember, we don't know who the victim is here because as Trump has said before, that all the loans were paid with interest, nobody was not paid, and that basically people are just going after him. He said that Smith's team sought a gag order from the U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutikin by citing many of his previous attacks on prosecutors, even citing his attacks on the judge himself. She also ruled against a motion by Trump's team that she should recuse herself. So, Trump has just had it. He said in this New York case, there's a lot of fines, including licensing, and part of his real estate empire is on the line in this case. Basically, his polls, we know that he's leading 50, 60, up to 70% in the polls. And once again, he just reiterated the fact that this is a Democratic club politician. He's a Democratic operative. They just don't want me to be able to run. They want to do everything they can to knock me out of even running. He also called AG Letitia James a disgrace to our country. And, he also erupted over the valuation of Mar-a-Lago that the judge cited in a ruling that Trump had inflated the value of the assets by $2 billion. However, there is a discrepancy in the fact that, let me find where it's at. In New York civil fraud case that's going on now, there's an insider that says that the valuation of Mar-a-Lago cited by the judge is based on a misunderstanding of basic real estate practice. So this is the other clog in the wheel, saying that the judge is misunderstanding the basic real estate practice. And he said apparent mistake surfaces on his use of a Palm Beach County appraisal of Mar-a-Lago that an expert says is detached from the true value of the property. And as Trump was saying, he said it on social media that the value of Mar-a-Lago is like $1 billion or more. He said that today. And he said that, the brand has a lot to do with it. And we all know properties do increase in value depending on many different factors. And if there's a bank that's going to give you a loan on that, they have special people that go out there and value that property before the bank gives you the loan. So once again, here, he's trying to figure out who the victim is and what is going on. Now, as he left court, he had a better temperament today. He actually, the very judge that he attacked and was very upset with, which he had just cause for it, he was saying that the judge made a very fair statement at the end of the first day of the fraud case. And he said that the judge's last statement was very fair because he said that the way I interpret that, the judge said the statute of limitations is a very real thing in this country, and that would kick out 80% of this case and it would be over, Trump was saying. He characterized the statement as a welcome and unexpected development. So Trump said this was big, 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 and Trump was very surprised. And it was a great credit to the court that the judge was willing to do this, sort of overruled himself, and I greatly respect that. So he went from the attack and all this stuff that once he left court, he was a little more calmed down with that. He said that he just gave him great respect for that. Then, of course, the judge didn't actually come out and go as far as say the majority of the case was being tossed. He appeared to recognize how the appeals court had decided the issue, and Trump's team had sued September 14th and accused Engoron of ignoring the appeals court decision. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the 80% of the case that Trump was talking about. The judge totally ignored the decision of the court there. So it's crazy. Oh, yeah. Don't forget fire alarms, open doors. I have that, Debbie, too. I have that at the end with Marjorie Taylor Greene. She just came out with a little demonstration on video of what happened there. So we'll get to that, too, hon. So it says the judge made acknowledgement of an appeals court decision, the subject of a procedural court fight that the law governing the statute of limitations for the fraud that Engoron found occurred applied only back to 2014. And then the judge said, I trust that you can relate the 2011 documents to something that happened later, or all this has been a huge waste of time. So once again, Trump was saying these people want to go back and keep going back and back and back. And the judge was not happy about the fact that it occurred in 2014, and some of these documents are from 2011. So we'll have to see, obviously, what happens after this. I think it's a long ways to be over, but like I said, Trump was all fired up today. Boy, I never saw him so upset, and he was just very stern. And who can blame the guy? It gets to be ridiculous when the policies aren't being followed all the way across the board evenly. And we also know on the other side of this roadmap what's going on with the Biden family and stuff. And we just keep singing the same song and dance. What about them? This is happening to him, but what about them? And we just really got to kick it in gear. So the other thing, the other fire in the hole, which is killing me right now, it's so funny because Matt Gaetz actually, and I probably shouldn't be laughing, but it's nice to finally see some Republicans or some people besides the Dems getting active and following through with what they say they're going to do. We know that Matt Gaetz, for the last week or two at least, has been holding Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, to task, saying, hey, you told us you were going to do these one appropriation bills, one at a time, not these bulk bills. You said that in January. You still haven't done it. There was a appropriations bill regarding the border and funding that has been sitting on the desk for over 100 days, but McCarthy hasn't brought that to the floor for a vote yet. And he's like, you dude, I'm just holding you accountable to the promises you've made the American people, and you're not doing it. So what happened is Matt Gaetz pulled the trigger on trying to rule out or get Kevin McCarthy out as the House floor Speaker of the House. On the floor Monday, he said he was threatening to do it, and he just did it. And he threatened McCarthy, and McCarthy said, go for it. And Matt Gaetz said, I just did. And Bannon even piped in, and he said, this is for the future of the Republic. This is what's going on right now. Now, Matt Gaetz and McCarthy are going at it left and right. McCarthy's saying that Matt Gaetz has something personal agenda against me because we know that there's an investigative committee investigating different accusations against Matt Gaetz involving different things. I don't need to say we know about it. I don't want to risk that. But and McCarthy said he's got a personal agenda against me. And Matt Gaetz said, absolutely not, 100%. Go ahead and investigate me. He goes, I've been investigated on and off for everything and anything. He goes, I don't have a problem with you investigating me at all. So actually, Gaetz also accused McCarthy. He said that McCarthy was going to cut a deal with the Democrats to save his job. And he was going to do like a side little deal with the Democrats. And McCarthy has denied that he was going to do that. So the verbal darts are going back and forth between these two. It's an incredible thing to watch them go back and forth, because you think at a time like this, obviously McCarthy, after it took all that time to get him in as speaker and all these votes, that he would be a step up forefront speaker, right? And instead he's saying that Matt Gaetz would rather get interviews and worry about TV spots and what he gets the spotlight than taking care of the American people. And we know that's absolutely not true. To me, Matt Gaetz is out there being a fighter. He filed that motion to vacate McCarthy, and that's going to force a vote on the floor whether McCarthy gets to stay as the California Republican as speaker. So we'll see what happens with that. But McCarthy was asked directly if he would refuse a deal with the Democrats to avoid being ousted. And McCarthy said, I think this is about the institution. I think it's too important. He sidestepped the issue. He didn't say, yes, I would take a deal. No, I wouldn't take a deal. He just avoided the question. And we all know that when people avoid the question and defer and deflect, that's because they're not legit, right? They don't want to say their truths. And that's the one thing that I keep saying that I love about Trump. He's out there speaking it. He's speaking his truth. He's fighting it. Gaetz has been doing the same thing, and Marjorie Taylor Greene's been doing the same thing as well. Whether we agree with them or not, they are speaking their truth. They're trying to do their best to represent us and be transparent. These people, especially McCarthy, who's been in there a very long time, know how to be shady. They know how to tickle our ears. They know how to give a good speech and say a good thing, and then their actions don't follow through. So once again, that Gaetz, he accused McCarthy on the House floor on Monday of doing a secret side deal and to offer more funding to Ukraine. That's what the side deal was. And McCarthy keeps saying that, nope, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So we'll have to wait and see if anything comes out about that. But basically, Kevin McCarthy's true coalition, Matt Gaetz says, has been to partner on all things of substance towards the Democrats and their side. And I have to agree with them on that. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, it's just fire in the hole, man, left and right. It's like hard. It's like you got to keep your head left and right, up and down. Who's doing what to who now? And it was just kind of crazy. Those two really going at it. I just love Matt Gaetz. I think that he's a fighter. There's rumors that he wants to run for governor of Florida. Whether that's true or not, the point is you want a fighter out there, somebody that doesn't care to about, they don't care about what people say about them, that they go out there, they find the truth, and they have facts to back it up. Anybody can talk the talk. It's the people that walk the walk that we want in, that's the only way we're going to create change. This flim-flamming back and forth that McCarthy's been doing, I'm just really not impressed with him as of yet. So let's see. I'm on Matt Gaetz' side here. Redhausen says McCarthy has not lived up to his word and something needs to be done. Good on Matt for trying. Yep, so far so good. Like I said, Bannon piped in and said, hey, this is for the future of our republic. Steve Bannon's up for Gaetz too. Now the GOP is also, some of these members are looking to expel Matt Gaetz as well as he attempts to oust Kevin McCarthy. Supposedly, this is a New York Post story. They're saying that no one can stand him. And I mean, really? They're saying no one can stand Matt Gaetz at this point. He's a smart guy without morals, one lawmaker told the outlet. Well, guess what? It says one lawmaker, no names of the lawmaker. And how petty is that? A smart guy without morals. Let's give the details, Mr. or Mrs., whoever the lawmaker is that told New York Post this. It's ridiculous. This name calling needs to stop. So a motion to expel requires 2/3 vote to go through, meaning Democrats will hypothetically need to come on board. Given the 221 to 212 Republican to Democrat makeup of the lower chamber, Gaetz has professed his innocence in the ethics probe that's been going on, which is nearing its conclusion, supposedly. So it's all these different ethics things that they're bringing against Matt Gaetz. However, Matt Gaetz says he's not worried, that really, it's only a simple majority to pass this vacate for Mr. McCarthy is what he's saying. So basically, Matt Gaetz had said to CNN, I think we need to move on new leadership that can be trustworthy. Look, the one thing everybody has in common is that nobody trusts Kevin McCarthy. He lied to Biden. He lied to House conservatives. And this is what Matt Gaetz had said. He was on CNN. I don't know if you saw it, State of the Union, with host Jake Tapper, because not many people watch. However, I find it interesting that Gaetz went on there, said what he had to say. I caught part of it. And McCarthy told CBS on Sunday, Face the Nation, in response to Matt Gaetz, he said, so be it, bring it on. Let's get it over with and let's start governing. So here we go. So he did bring it. Like I said, he did bring it. It was kind of funny the way that it came across anyways. But I don't know, you guys. It's just kind of crazy out there. And, who knows? The other thing I wanted to talk about is Dianne Feinstein's daughter and 3 stepdaughters. They're getting ready to inherit the $102 million property portfolio, as well as her $62 million private jet. So I find this interesting in the fact that I'm just going to read a little list of things that Dianne had and garnered over the years. And then I have a question at the end of this. So her portfolio is huge. Like I said, it's a $102 million property portfolio, a $62 million jet. She also has a mansion of the San Francisco Bay in California that's worth $21 million. A Washington, D.C. mansion is where she passed away. That's worth $7.4 million. She has a $5 million Hawaii duplex, a $7.5 million beach house in California. And then also she recently, the last year or so, sold an Aspen home. It was a ranch for $25 million. And a Lake Tahoe compound she sold for $36 million. And then she also is believed to have at least like $70 million or so in the bank. That's just cash in the bank. to have fun with, I guess. I don't know. But they're saying that a lot of her wealth stemmed from her billionaire husband. It was her second husband, Richard Bloom. He was a financier and founder investment of firm Bloom Capital Brothers and Partners. So he passed away in February 2022. So the point of this is this portfolio is massive. A total of 160 million, including the jet. And now what's going on is there's an ugly court battle going over the cluster of mansions and all this kind of stuff, and all of her assets or estates stuff between the 3 kids, stepdaughters that she has, and then the one that she had with him. So basically, they're dealing with each other in not a nice way, and they're going to court over all this. But what I can't understand is when you have that much of a portfolio, I mean, am I wrong on this? Wouldn't you have a concrete, solid, nothing can be challenged type of will? Wouldn't everything be dedicated in down to the fine line tuning detail of who gets what? Like, I don't understand when people have this vast amount of money, and this was always boggles my mind with this, because when people have vast amounts of money like this, and there's a split up, a death, a breakup, whatever it is, it seems to me more times than not, people go to court and it costs them years and years of time, and the money and the assets are all tied up in litigation. Nobody can do much of anything with it, and they lose millions, if not a billion, right? So I don't understand why with as much as lawyers are out there and as much money as these people have, is they wouldn't lock and secure everything. I mean, I don't understand this. I just really don't. And I find it appalling. She hasn't been gone that long and everybody's battling already. And I always think that, man, everybody, most people, not everybody, we want our kids to have morals and values. Everybody does. But my point is, when you have a dream to leave a fortune to your family or the next generations down, grandchildren, children, whatever it may be, a legacy, so to speak, and then you see how people handle such things. There's not very many families out there that have achieved that and have a clean-cut family. You look at the Bidens. I mean, the Trump family so far so good. That's one good example. But you look at these names that we have heard in the media over the last few years, these generations of families, and you look at all the corruption that goes on within the families, or the kind of tragedies that strike in the family with their children, or family members. And I'm telling you, money is not the root of all evil. The love and the worship of all money is the root of all evil. And I really believe that it's true that the more money you get, it just brings out what's already in you, but whether it's good or bad. So really, if you have good morals and good standards, and you're grounded in your life, and you amass a fortune or a lot of money, you're going to do good things with it. But if you already have a bit of corruption, greed and stuff, and you aren't right with yourself and the man above, it's just going to perpetuate that as well. I've seen it here with different founders that are in the South that have big companies. I'm not going to say the names, but the father who started the legacy was highly respected and loved, and a great person, and really was God driven. Well, the son took over some of the stuff, and boy, that legacy is tanking really fast. There's no respect for this son and the way that he handles business and the way that he treats people. And it's very sad to see, because the community I'm in is not very big. So, I mean, the word travels fast. Everybody kind of knows everybody. Everybody sees everybody. And so my point is, really in life, if you have a good, solid heart, good, solid family, and you have joy and love in your heart, really, that goes a lot further than what some of these people deal with that have fortunes. It's just, sometimes I think I just wouldn't want to have anything to do with it at all. Because it breaks families up, tears them up. And like I said, you look at the Biden family, and all this tragedy that's gone on with that family and the corruption, and it just spreads and spreads and spreads. And, we just got to get that right. We have to get it right. There should be term limits. These people who are making millions and billions, even up to billions, that are representatives is absolutely ridiculous. I've said for a long time, and you guys probably agree, firemen, rescue, emergency response people are way underpaid. Teachers are way underpaid. Why not buck up their pay and maybe lower some of these other people? I don't understand it. So maybe we have a chance. We start in our government from the bottom up. We try to, renew, regrow, and realign everything to be fair, and hopefully and put in term limits. That I think is very, very important to do, because these people who have been in there forever get comfortable, and they can be bought and sold and traded. It's just ridiculous, and we just got to put a stop to that, because we look at the sellout of this country and where we're at now, and it's just so traumatizing and so sad. And it's very sad. Matt Gaetz' father's coming out of... Ooh, I didn't hear that, Debbie. Really? Debbie King. I did not know Matt Gaetz' father's coming out of retirement and going to run for Senate. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay, the next thing that we have on here that I wanted to talk about was Gavin Newsom did select a replacement for Feinstein for her seat that is vacated. It's for 13 months, and her name is LaFonza Butler. Who is LaFonza Butler? LaFonza Butler is a Democratic strategist and advisor to Kamala Harris's 2020 presidential campaign. And she's an old friend of the governor. She fundraisers for pro-choice female political candidates. And then in a statement that Newsom made regarding her, this is what he had to say. He said she will make history becoming the first Black lesbian to openly serve in the U.S. Senate. She has fought for reproductive freedom and safety from gun violence. So in a 2021 interview, Newsom had said, should Feinstein vacate her seat, that he would replace it with a Black woman. Now, this is the thing. There should be qualifications other than if you're male, female, or what race you are. And that goes with everybody. People should be qualified. So back in 2021, I want to know why he felt the need to say that he would replace someone not that is qualified, but a simple statement of a Black woman. Like I said, I'm all for women doing roles in government and being leaders out there. But for that to be a qualification just by male or female gender or your race, I think that's a slap in the face, basically. Also, what's going to happen now with all the different people that we have that don't feel male or female? I mean, it can go down a really shady path here. And I just don't have respect for somebody that is going to put somebody in a seat, a U.S. Senate seat like that based on, their physical appearance. It could be anybody's physical appearance. I mean, it was dumbfounding to me to find that. I thought that's his first public statement about replacing somebody. And that's what he said, that she would make history. We don't know. Hopefully it's a good history, because if she doesn't do well, then that's not going to be a good history or legend that she's going to leave behind. So that's kind of a broad statement there, and very optimistic, but based on somebody just by their gender, in my opinion. Exactly, Redhausen. That's who he picked. So the other thing that I have before I get to Marjorie and her statement, you guys, and this is incredible. This kind of probably got overlooked because of everything going on in government and stuff. But in Winter Haven, Florida, 3 Disney employees and a high school teacher and a coach were among more than 200 arrested in a week-long undercover human trafficking focused operation in Polk County. 83 suspects were arrested for soliciting, and I'm going to say female that or male that you can buy with the letter P. I'm going to watch my words here. They were traveling to the undercover location to negotiate having intimate things go on in exchange for money. 17 other suspects were arrested, and of those, 5 were either deriving proceeds from the P word and aiding or abetting the P word. and 8 drove the people to the undercover location. Okay, so also the Sheriff Grady Judge is the one that was there handling this, and he said that 21 possible human trafficking victims were identified of the 119 people that were arrested in the week-long operation. 2 of the suspects, a male and a female, were both in the country, guess what? Surprise, surprise, illegally. They were charged with felony human trafficking. And the sheriff was saying, you always think that guys are going to be the ones that do this. But he said she, and her name's Maria Guzman, she is the one that's facing the felony charge, which is 30 years in prison, because she's the one that was setting up the appointments for this. She was the one that was the one that was the P word of the 2 ladies. Okay. And she was taking 60 to 70% of their money. So how this happened is this woman, this Maria woman, met these people online, and they thought they were applying for work in construction. So the other person that was charged, his name was Freddie. He is also an illegal. And the sheriff is mad. And the sheriff said, these people are coming here illegally to victimize the people in the United States. And what happened was that apparently this man, Freddie, loaned this woman, Maria, money. She couldn't pay him back, so he forced her into this, and he kept the money that she made, 60 to 70%. So basically, this is what happened. Over 200 people. And along with that, there was a 13-month-old baby this lady brought along in this when they finally caught them, and the baby was turned over to the DCF for safety and stuff like that. So they've also incorporated a child in this. And also Russell Rogers of Winter Haven was also arrested. Guess who Russell Rogers is? He is an athletic director of the Vanguard School and is also a teacher at the Auburndale High School Real Academy. Also, he is married with 3 children, and he was a head coach at several different locations. So right here is an example of people saying, well, maybe it's not as bad as we think. Maybe that isn't happening anymore. This sting it was a week-long sting, is over 200 people. And unfortunately, there were a couple children that were brought to this event. It didn't say they were harmed or anything, but it was saying that they had to be turned over to DCF to be taken care of. That of the 41 suspects, they told detectives 41 of them were married. 35 of them that were arrested are illegals. Okay, so let me tell you, where are they coming from? Of the 35 illegals, they were 6 different countries: Cuba, Chile, Venezuela, Mexico, Guatemala, Colombia, and the Bahamas. 13 of the suspects told detectives that they received government assistance. 42 of the suspects brought illegal drugs to the location, and it was all the drugs. I'm not going to name them, but there were a lot of them. The heavy duty ones, the ones that we know are coming across this border like crazy. 2 of the suspects brought firearms to the location, and then 18 suspects were from other states. Some of the states include Alabama, California, Georgia, Illinois, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. So that tells you, we were talking about the number of illegals that are coming into this country, and here's a bust that happens involving two Disney employees, and another employee worked for the Disney hotel. We've got people that are illegals from all across the country, different states. They all met here and they had this whole operation. So I say thank you, God, that these people got arrested. Let's see what happens in this sting. And if what happens if they hold them accountable, if they kick them out, if they put them to jail for the rest of their life, what happens? I don't know. But I was very disturbed to find that this afternoon, because the thing is, it doesn't make the major headlines. It doesn't make headlines anywhere. It's like these stories, you have to mostly look, really scour the internet, or you have to go to the local papers or local news stations in each state and each city. And that takes a lot of research and a lot of looks. So it's like they don't want us to know about that kind of stuff, right? They don't want us to know. And that's why I say we always have to keep digging and keep digging, because, they're going to bury a lot of stuff, or they're going to try to make stuff go away and it not be seeable, or it comes and it goes and we forget about it. So the last thing that I wanted to cover was Marjorie Taylor Greene. So we all know about Jamal Bowman, how he pulled the fire alarm the other day to really interrupt the vote that was going on. And he claimed that he was actually just trying to find a way out with the doors. And he pulled the fire alarm thinking that that was going to open the doors, because Marjorie Taylor Greene put a thing out and said, on the weekends, the doors are locked. And she showed a video, if you guys didn't see it, and there was the fire alarm was there. And then like the doors were right behind me. Okay. So, and she said, nowhere here does it say pulled to open the doors. It's very clearly labeled fire alarm, and the doors were locked. But she said, she showed how you can walk through the Cannon building and you can get out through the doors that are open. All you have to do is simply walk down some steps. And she said Jamal Bowman knew what he was doing. He was trying to interrupt the vote. And there was no, she goes, she took you for a walk. So if you have a chance to catch the video, look up Marjorie Taylor Greene walking through the Cannon building. She just put that out today. And she shows you he knew what he was doing. There's no excuse for that. Nowhere did it say, open doors here. It was clearly a fire alarm. So what I like about it is she actually showed you what doors were and what alarm was pulled, where the doors were, where the steps were. So a lot of times with different representatives and things like this that go on, we get their word versus his word, vice versa, right? We get a verbal game back and forth. But when somebody like her can go and just show us exactly what happened, we can make our own decision. Did he do it intentionally? Was it a mistake? And we see with our own eyes. And then we can, garner more information. More information we have, we can make the educated decisions. But she said that he needs to be arrested and prosecuted. He needs to be on the same charges that the J6ers were, she said, because he interrupted the vote. So more to come of that, but he was really yelling and screaming. I heard Jamal and saw the video of him saying that he was just looking for a way out, and he was very loud and kind of yelling. So we have a tendency to know that what happens when people like that yell and scream and try to make a lot of noise, then we know that they're not really telling the truth, or they're just trying to overpower somebody that's standing there calmly saying, why did you do this? What are you doing? It's just kind of crazy. But what kind of low have we sunk into that a representative, I keep saying that, well, how low can we go? And obviously pretty low, that a representative to interrupt a vote is going to go and pull a fire alarm just to stop the vote. It's incredible to me. There's like, it's from the way we dress now, obviously the dress code, somebody put in legislature, I think it was, or Matt Gaetz or somebody was saying that, no, we want the dress code back up. And there's no reason that people should be there in sweats or workout clothes or whatever it may be, that we need to have a dress code. So yes, we need to have a little more class and elegance and respect for the seats that they hold, for the positions that they hold, to look and respectable for representing us in the country and across the world when they go to meetings and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's a free for all. You look at the things over the last year, including the catastrophe on the front lawn of the White House with nakedness and jumping around and naked bodies being painted and kids around. That's not acceptable. It wasn't acceptable ever. And it's like a clown world. It's like a clown world. And we need to get our respectability and class back in this country. And with people like Matt Gaetz, you guys watching, you guys paying attention, and all of us doing what we can do, I have full faith that we're going to be able to do that. It feels like we're getting closer and closer towards that. It's all or nothing is what I'm trying to say, because we can't go on like this very much longer. We'll be sunk. So every time we think that things can't get any worse, different things like this happen where our representatives are just acting crazy, like they're nuts. They're incredibly crazy. And I'm thankful that there are some out there that are fighting the good fight, that are willing to take the swords like the Matt Gaetzes of the world and stuff, and, just have a fire and a passion in their heart instead of just worrying about lining their pockets. They're really worried about the American people and justice and the justice system and straightening everything out. The level of criminality that's going on in this world and injustice is just incredible. It's mind-boggling. So when we achieve small little things, if going forward, no matter how small or big they are, we really need to pay attention to them and be thankful and allow that to re-energize us and give us hope for the future of this country. So I know Redhausen, I know he won't get into any legal trouble. Let's see what happens with that, right? We just got to keep our fingers crossed, pray, and hope that justice will prevail. Lady Justice is very tilted. It's almost broken, to one side. But we just got to keep the faith and keep moving on. This is a crazy day. It's a Monday, one day, and all this that went down. It's incredible. And I know I didn't even get to cover everything, but that's the way it is. Everything's so fast paced now. It's just changing and moving, and people are just, it's incredible. So just keep your head held high, you guys. Stand strong and keep the faith. That's what I keep saying. We just need to partner up together and just keep each other appraised of the situations going on, keep each other updated. And like I said, America's worth fighting for. She's a good country. She's the best country she is. She's the standing, outshining example of everything in the world. And she's plummeted because of the administration and the things going on. And we need to get her respectability back for all our forefathers and all those who fought for our freedoms. We can't give up the fight. We just got to stay in it, you guys. And I'm here for the long haul, and I hope you guys are too. So keep the faith. That's it for me tonight. Love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me this late evening, and I will talk to you guys soon. Love you all. Take care. God bless.